ethnic communities in the public service for the financial years 2022-23 and 2023-24. Honorable Speaker, the Public Service Commission is established under Article 233 of the Constitution to manage and oversight human resource in the public service. Its mandate under Article 234 includes, among others, to promote the values and principles of public service, including representation of Kenya's diverse communities and providing equal opportunities for appointment of the members of all ethnic groups. In 2024, the Commission developed the Draft Public Service Commission Affirmative Action Regulations with an aim to provide a framework for ensuring equitable representation of ethnic communities in the public service. Additionally, the Commission's framework for the implementation of values and principles in Articles 10 and 232 provides that public institutions should observe the principle of equitable representation of all ethnic communities in proportion to their share of the national population. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity on the following. A report on the national proportionate population share of each of the 46 ethnic communities, indicating communities whose representation in the public service is 1. Proportionate to their national population share, 2. Exceeds their proportionate share, 3. Is below their proportionate share, and 4. Not represented in the public service at all. B. Authorized establishment indicating the in-post figures and the variance for each ministry and state department for the financial years 2022-23 and 2023-24. C. A report on staff employed by the Public Service Commission detailing designation, job scale, and ethnicity. D. A report of all appointments and promotions made in ministries, departments, and agencies for the financial years 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024, including ethnic representation, and E. Status of the Draft Public Service Commission (Affirmative Action Regulations 2024. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Harold. Chair, National Cohesion. Yusuf, you bring a response first week after recess. Okay. Thank you. Adan Kainan, Eldas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the progress made in tarmacking of the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, Ethiopia Road, that is A14, in the National Trunk Road managed by Kenya National Highways Authority, Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this road, the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, Ethiopia Road, is part of the A14 designated International Trunk Road, Mr. Speaker. And this A14 runs through northern Kenya, connecting Wajir to Moyale border, and also facilitates cross-border connection to Ethiopia for a distance of approximately 545 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, Ethiopia Road has the potential to unlock the transformative potential, which includes reducing logistics costs for business, strengthening supply, and chain resilience, Mr. Speaker, and fostering regional development. Mr. Speaker, such strategic investment not only bridges isolated communities to a national and continental markets, but also positions northern Kenya as a gateway to the Pan-African trade, aligning with the vision of African continental free trade area, Mr. Speaker, vision of seamless continental connectivity. Mr. Speaker, this road, the Ethiopian side, was done in 1974, and I'm sure you're aware of the history. Mr. Speaker, a robust road network serves as the backbone of the economic transformation, catalyzing trade expansion, border integration, and equitable regional development. Mr. Speaker, Ethiopia has reportedly successfully completed its section of the road connecting Moyale to Addis, transforming this critical border link into a powerful driver of regional integration. Mr. Speaker, the upgraded corridor now facilitates seamless trade and movement between Kenya and Ethiopia, significantly reducing transit times and cost. However, on the Kenya side, Mr. Speaker, tarmacking of the road from Wajir to Moyale is yet to be commenced. Mr. Speaker, the completion of this strategic road infrastructure will not only strengthen bilateral relations, but also unlock new opportunities for economic collaboration, fostering growth across the East African region and beyond. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. The current status of funding, planning, and implementation of the tarmacking of the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Butte, Moyale, Ethiopia Road, that is the A14 International Track Road managed by Kenya, including specific timelines for its commencement. B+2, Mr. Speaker, plans put in place to fund this project, particularly under the Horn of Africa Gateway Project or any other development initiatives, and details of the funding commitment, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, finally, also the measures put in place to fast track the tarmacking of this critical corridor to ensure its timely completion and maximize its economic and regional integration benefits. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. GK, Chair, Transport and Infrastructure.
Honorable Speaker, we avail a detailed response after the recess.
Within?
After the recess or 2 weeks, whichever comes earlier.
2 weeks after recess?
No. After recess,
yes,
we should be able to
within
respond.
The first week?
Within the first week, yes.
Okay. Yes, Wangari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to raise a constitutional requirement on a bill that has been pending on this House. Article 113 of our Constitution clearly spells out that mediation committees should finish their job within 30 days, Mr. Speaker. The Gambling Control Bill, number 70 of 2023, Mr. Speaker, has been in abeyance since last year. Maybe you can help me to guide the majority and minority leaders to ensure that that mediation committee is either disbanded or is redone, Mr. Speaker, so that we deal with this gambling menace as it is.
Clerk, check out and give me a brief. Guna, I will give you a guidance tomorrow.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Password to Standing Order 44-2C. I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation regarding the circumstances surrounding the delayed execution of service contract of Director General of the Kenya Fisheries Services. Honorable Speaker, the Fisheries Management and Development Act, Cap 378, provides for the appointment of DG of the Kenya Fisheries Services, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of the services. The current Director General was appointed in October 2020 for a period of 4 years, renewable once in line with the provision of the Act. The Kenya Fisheries Services Human Resource Policies and Procedure Manual and the Mwongozo and the Guidelines on the Terms and Conditions for State Corporations 2004. Under the applicable framework, a serving Director General wishing for renewal of contract is required to express interest of renewal by writing to to the chairman of the board at least 6 months prior to the expiry of the contract for the consideration and approval of the board. It is on this basis of this framework that Mr. Daniel Mugai, the Director General, sought renewal of his contract prior to the expiry of his first contract term. Honorable Speaker, it is believed that during the 26th ordinary session of the Kenya Fisheries Service Board meeting held on 12th of July 2024, the board made an anonymous decision to renew the contract of Mr. Daniel Mugai as the Director General of Kenya Fisheries Services for a second term. Surprisingly, despite the board having sought and received concurrence from the Minister of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs through the Prime Cabinet Secretary, who was then the acting as the Cabinet Secretary, contract was never executed. Instead, Mr. Mugai was awarded an extension of a period of 6 months, raising concerns on the compliance with the board resolution. Honorable Speaker, it is in the above matters that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation on the following. 1, the circumstances surrounding the failure to execute renewal of the contract of Mr. Daniel Mugai as the Contractor General of the Kenya Fisheries Services, despite the approval of the board on 12th July 2024, and the jurisdiction for award of 6 months extension of the tenures. 2, steps taken to inform Mr. Mugai as the substantive Director General of the Kenya Fisheries Services, so as to ensure operational continuity of the services, including timelines. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, Water, Blue Economy. Yes. Honorable. You are the Vice Chair. Yes. When can you bring the response?
Mr. Speaker, says so 2 weeks from now, whichever is earlier.
That's Kitayama.
Yes, this is Kitayama.
Yes.
Yours truly here.
Yes. Within the first week
of resuming
of resumption.
From resumption.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, inquiry into irregular and illegal grant of tax exemptions to a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement.
Mover to reply. I've been told by the chair that DK Kimayo is the one replying. Not DK, Kimayo of Keio South. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, this motion was about the irregular exemption of taxes. And I want to thank this House, those who contributed. I want to thank those in the committee on behalf of the chairman of the Committee on Delegated Legislation and the members. We say thank you, and we urge this House that tax exemption is a very bad precedent in this country, and we should punish those who don't pay taxes instead of encouraging those who don't pay taxes. This was a motion, Mr. Speaker, where a company was exempted from paying taxes. And you know where we are in this country at the moment. We are struggling to get taxes through KRA. And if we continue allowing people not to pay taxes, we will struggle in getting money for development, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, we should be discouraging as a House people who are exempted from paying taxes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I beg to reply.
I beg to reply. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Members on the Kibagandi, take your seats. Ijara, take your seat. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 8, which is at this house. Order. Zambia. You think you are in the village of Kilome? What is Kasalu saying to you to... Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on the inquiry into irregular and illegal grant of tax exemptions to a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 26 September 2024. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, second reading.
Majority Leader. Owen, are you the one moving?
Yeah.
Owen Bayer.
Give me the order, Papa. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025. Honorable Speaker, to be read for the second time, sorry. Honorable Speaker, the principal object of the bill is to reduce poverty and vulnerability and improve the well-being of the people by providing assistance, services, and programs that build human capital and cushion people against risks and contingencies throughout their cycle. Honorable Speaker, Part 1 of the bill provides for the preliminary matters such as the interpretation of terms used in the bill, objects, and the Act, the application of the Act and the guiding principles and the role of the county government in the provision of the Social Protection Bill. Honorable Speaker, the bill provides for the establishment of the National Board of Social Protection and defines its composition, functions, powers, and its sources of funds. Some of the functions of the board include advising the Cabinet Secretary on matters relating to social protection, designing and implementing social protection intervention and programs, providing social assistance and social care to vulnerable persons, coordinating social protection interventions, establishing and maintaining a social protection registry, undertaking civic education on social protection, periodically undertaking indexation of social assistance benefits in collaboration with the National Treasury, and undertaking resource mobilization for social protection interventions. Honorable Speaker, there are very many people in this country that actually require social protection, but we do not have a law that anchors social protection in this country. They are the vulnerable people, the disabled people, and many other people, Honorable Speaker, that require assistance from government that protects them from the vagaries of the kind of life that they live in. But, Honorable Speaker, we do not have. For example, the elderly, Honorable Speaker, we give stipend to them every month, but we don't have a law for that as a country. There are many disbursements that come from government, but we do not have a law that, see, this is an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to ensure we have a law in this country, a law that guides social protection. Honorable Speaker, one of the key things about this law is to provide a registry. Sometimes county government gives resources to this person, national government gives resources to that person, NGO gives resources to that person, but they leave many other people. Just a few people will benefit because they know how to go about the system. But, Honorable Speaker, if we have a registry of those people that require social protection in this country, Honorable Speaker, we can take better care of them. Today, Honorable Speaker, a person gets funds for this month. He's able to afford food. But in the next 3 months, there's nothing that person gets. Honorable Speaker, we need to ring-fence the people that require social protection in this country by ensuring we have a law. Honorable Speaker, one other very important aspect about this law is actually to go down to the grassroots. How do we develop a registry? We need officers to go out there and identify the people that are required that can actually be beneficiaries of the social protection funds that we give in this country. Honorable Speaker, last month we disbursed around 3.2 billion for the elderly. Yes, government disbursed 3.2 billion for the elderly, Honorable Speaker. And we were sent messages as members of parliament to ensure that this money gets there. But the criteria on how this is done, Honorable Speaker, is questionable. There's no laid down procedure on how to identify a person who should be a beneficiary of the social protection in this country, or the funds for the Wazee and many other funds that go out there from the government. And even when Exchequer is released, Honorable Speaker, we ask this question, under what law has this been done? There are many people out there, donors, Honorable Speaker, that want to help people that are vulnerable in this country. But because of the lack of a proper law to guide the process, they are hesitant to assist this country in that. But this law, Honorable Speaker, the Social Protection Bill, will go a long way, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that we have a criteria, we have a system, we have a law, we have regulations that ensure that we take care of the vulnerable people well in this country. Honorable Speaker, Part 3 of the bill provides for the administration of social protection benefits. It outlines the categories of persons who may be granted social protection benefits, the types of social protection benefits offered under the Act, the eligibility criteria, and the procedures for applying for the benefits. Honorable Speaker, it also provides for reviews and appeals against the decisions of the board, the rights and obligations of beneficiaries, the consequences of abusing social protection benefits, and the circumstances under which social protection benefits may be terminated or refunds made to the board. This part also provides for the review of social protection benefits, the indexation of social protection benefits, and the establishment of a social protection registry, Honorable Speaker. And these are the key elements that are currently missing, Honorable Speaker, in disbursing resources to people that we need to ring-fence as people who are under the social protection obligations of Honorable Speaker. So it is important to provide, Honorable Speaker, the eligibility criteria. Sometimes you go to the village, you see an old man that is 60 years that gets benefit. Another old man of 70 doesn't get. And yet that person requires more funds than any other person. So we ask ourselves, so what was the criteria that picked this one and left this one? Sometimes you see people who have retired. They have retired, but they have resources of funds. They have a pension. They have a farm. They have everything that supports their life. But they get actually the fund for Wazee. They get money, and yet a person who does not have a pension doesn't get that fund, Honorable Speaker. This is what we tend to cure in this bill, Honorable Speaker. But then one of the most important criteria, if you look at, one of the most important things that I look at this, Honorable Speaker, is the obligation and rights. Sometimes you see an old man who is given money from the Wazee fund, but he doesn't even have the information. For a whole year, that money is not collected. And some other crooks, Honorable Speaker, actually pick the money and use it. And this is what we want to cure through this bill. Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, Honorable Speaker, and I want to prepare the Honorable Silvana Sosoro to second this bill. Part 4 of the bill provides for the offenses. The offenses created under this part include prohibition of obstruction, the prohibition of persons from giving false information, unlawful disclosures of information, fraud, and misappropriation of funds. Honorable Speaker, one of the things that we suffer from is misappropriation of funds. Sometimes this money is given, but a higher percentage is used for administration than the money that goes to the real vulnerable people. Honorable Speaker, there are other parts of this country that actually do not get this fund because data has not been collected. Honorable Speaker, this is a fund, this is a law that will help the people of Changamwe, every person in Changamwe who requires assistance to get the assistance, not the bourgeoisie that are there and yet they get assistance, Honorable Speaker. So this is an important law. I want to urge this parliament to support this law to ensure the people of Suba South, Suba North also benefit, Honorable Speaker, so that every Kenyan who is supposed to benefits, Honorable Speaker. I can see the Honorable Ben Sauda is happy with this law, Honorable Speaker, because it will help the people of Homa Bay to actually also be reached, so that they say that Serikali has not reached them. Honorable Speaker, this is an important law. I want to urge everybody, including the people that come from the minority leaders' home, so that they also get social protection. So I want to urge everybody and every member that this is a law worth supporting, worth passing, and worth the name of this parliament. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Silvana Sosoro, the Honorable MP of Mugirango South, and Chief Whip of the National Assembly.
Sosoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I second this particular bill, one thing that should be very clear, and really when one grows, or when one is growing, they hardly tell themselves that at some point you'll get old. That in your 30s, you have to know that there is a time you'll be 40, there's a time you'll be 50. Honorable Speaker, when I was a young man, an extremely young man, although you still call me young man, when I was 20, I used to look at people.
You are a very young man.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I agree. Honorable Speaker, when I was 20, the people who are 40 used to look very old to me. I didn't know that 40 was just next door to me, Honorable Speaker. And now that I'm also there, I look at people who are 60 as very old. I know soon I'll also be there. I do not know where to classify you, Honorable Speaker, but that is the reality of life. That at some point, people will get to 60, people will get to 70, people will get to 80. And it is the responsibility of government to take care of the elderly. It is the responsibility of a responsible and well-organized and well-structured government, Honorable Speaker, to take care of the people of such a majority age, Honorable Speaker. Because when you get to the age of 70, looking at the economic status of our country and the opportunities that are therein, Honorable Speaker, if the government does not step in to take care of such people, then challenges will happen. And that is why it is important to the issues of health, the universal health coverage, the issue of social protection are very, very vital, Honorable Speaker, as far as this question of the social protection is concerned. Because looking at the jurisdictions that have grown, that have matured, that are progressive, say, for example, the United States, Honorable Speaker, where there is even provision of funds specifically, and even specifically to take care of those old people, Honorable Speaker. They have clinics. They have people that are employed to manage and do all those kind of things, Honorable Speaker, and they pay that, Honorable Speaker. I don't know why the Honorable Hassan is, I don't know why, Honorable Speaker, protect me from the Honorable. Speaker, protect me.
Honorable Hassan, you're out of order.
You can raise the point of information.
If the member on the floor is misleading the House, you know what to do. Go on.
The Honorable Speaker, I'll be guided by him because he really must have traveled. But what I'm saying is that in progressive countries, Honorable Speaker, in progressive jurisdictions, there are provisions for taking care of the elderly and the sick. And this is the culture that we really must develop here, because looking at the rate at which, of course, the mortality rate of this country, Honorable Speaker, the people who are perhaps in their post-50s tend not to live long because of lack of such provisions, Honorable Speaker, the social protection and such elements. So this bill comes in hand, Honorable Speaker, to create structures on who exactly is supposed to benefit, on the roles the board or the cabinet secretary, those responsible are going to, those responsible should be doing. So it really clears the way for the formation of a well-structured form or format to help in crafting and coming up with a very good structure of settling those people who are in the age of the majority. So, Honorable Speaker, With those very valid remarks, I beg to second.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I'll now propose the question at order number 9, which is the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, be now read a second time. Honorable members, I see a lot of names on the screen. They were there when we started. I don't know if they are for this bill. If you are not for this bill, log out. Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I stand up to raise the issue of quorum, Mr. Speaker. Whether we have quorum in the House, Mr. Speaker, to discuss this bill. Where is the number? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking about? No. There is no bill that will pass in this house going forward. No way. No. Embarrassing that we are passing other bills. Ikifika hiyo ndio wanataka kuembarrass wewe that they are calling for quorum. When we reach that number,
Yes.
that order is when they want to call for quorum. If you look bad on you, keep quiet.
Clerk, do we have quorum? Honorable members, we have 35 members. We need 50. Sergeant, ring the bell. And the whips, do your job.
That's the wrong procedure. People can't leave it.
Are you ringing the bell? No, it's Junet.
What you see, Kimayo is the one who said this thing that when the bill comes, they will walk out.
Ndio nikuoneshe kwenye tuli And at that time, we saw that the House had quorum. However, means that the members one by one walked out. And now what we are seeing is that the numbers have significantly reduced. And remember, it is a House that considers and passes laws. So the numbers present need to be a good representation of the public. And that is why that particular quorum is important to the House or inside the chambers. The quorum bell is still on. However, you will recall before that hitch, the bill that was being considered or the business that was on the floor of the House was the Social Protection Bill, a bill sponsored by the leader of the majority party, and we had seen the deputy leader of the majority party, Honorable Owen Baya, moving that bill, and it was seconded by the majority whip, Honorable Sylvana Sosoro. The Social Protection Bill is a bill that seeks to address existing gaps in the social protection sector, provide for a comprehensive framework for social protection, to make provision for and regulate the administration of social assistance, and also to establish the National Board for Social Protection. The Speaker is addressing the House. Allow me to hand you over.
Leadership to come to my office in the next 3-4 minutes so that we can consult Baya, Janet, and your team. Honorable members, due to a quorum hitch, the House now stands adjourned until tomorrow, the 23rd of April 2025 at 9:30 a.m.
Good afternoon to you. You are right on time for the National Assembly proceedings, being the proceedings of the House on this day, being the 22nd day of April, the year being 2025. A broadcast brought to you by the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in conjunction with the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit, where the National Assembly will this afternoon consider a number of business before it. In the highlights in the order of business this afternoon are a number of motions. Given priority is the consideration of the prevention of terrorism, implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on the suppression of terrorism. These are regulations of 2024 And this motion is by the chairperson delegated legislation, who on behalf of his committee is seeking to have the National Assembly adopt the report of delegated legislation on its consideration of the prevention of terrorism, this being regulations of 2024, and the committee laid its report on the table of the House last week, that being on the 17th of April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 18 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, annuls the entirety the prevention of terrorism implementation of the United Nations Security Council, this being resolutions that were suppressing matters to do with terrorism. These are regulations under the guidance of regulation of terrorism, number 187 of the year 2024. This motion will be debated this afternoon. The House, so to speak, debating this aspect of management of terrorism, and under motion number 9, the House will be considering the prevention of terrorism implementations of the United Nations Security Resolutions on the prevention, suppression, and disruption of proliferation, financing on matters to do with terrorism. There are a number of bills before the House this afternoon. Among them is the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill. This is a bill from the Senate, Bill number 1 of the year 2025, by the Chairperson Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Committee on Budget is currently being led by the Honourable Member for Alego Usonga, Honourable Sametandi, and the House will be debating the bill being handled by his committee. The Learners with Disability Bill, yet another bill originating from the Senate, Bill number 4 of the year 2023, by the Chairperson Departmental Committee on Education. This, I want to believe, is Honourable Julius Melly. Will be debating the Learners with Disability Bill, being a bill that is seeking to improve the learning conditions and the learning of persons or learners living with disability. The Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, the House is set to debate amendments on the Value Added Tax Bill, Bill number 11 of the year 2025, by the leader of the majority party. The consideration of the Kenyan Sessional Paper number 1 of the year 2025 on the Kenyan foreign policy, by the Chairperson Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, is a motion before the House this afternoon, seeking to have the National Assembly adopt Sessional Paper number 1 of 2025 on the Kenya foreign policy that was laid on the table of the House on the 13th day of February, the year being 2025. On your screens, members of the National Assembly streaming into the chamber this afternoon. A minute after 2:30 p.m., the appointed time for the House to be commencing business on this Tuesday afternoon, and immediately the Speaker of the House makes his way into the chamber, we will be handing you over for this live broadcast. But as we wait for that, under Standing Orders number 44, subsection 2C, a number of members of Parliament will be requesting 4 statements. And these statements will be provided answers on by the relevant committees of the House. Honourable Daniel Nanok, the MP for Turkana West, will be requesting for a statement on the implementation of Shirika Plan and its effect on the refugees and host communities. And this request for statement on refugee host communities and Shirika Plan will be responded to by the Committee on Administration and Internal Security. Equally, the Committee on Internal Security will be handling yet another statement from Honorable Engineer Zambia, this being the MP for Kilome. His statement that he'll be seeking this afternoon is on the review of fees for registration and re-registration of alteration of birth certificates. Honorable Thaddeus Zambia, the MP for Kilome, wants the committee to liaise with the Ministry of Interior and provide answers on the review for fees on registration, re-registration and alteration of birth certificates. Honorable Abdi Ali, the Member of Parliament for Ijara, will be seeking for a statement this afternoon on the attack on herders in Kirunjo area in Hulugo Ward in Ijara constituency by KDF officers. The request for statement by Honorable Abdi Ali, the Member of Parliament for Ijara, on the attack on herders in Kirunjo area in Ijara constituency. Allegedly, this attack being done by KDF officers will be handled by the House Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. The Committee on Finance and National Planning will be handling yet another statement this afternoon. This request for statement is by Honorable Susan Ngugi. This is the County MP for Tharaka Nithi County on stalled payment of pension for former councillors. Honorable Abdul Haro, the Member of Parliament for Mandera South, will be requesting for a statement on the status of representation of ethnic communities in the appointments in the public service. These appointments range from the financial year 2022-2023 and 2023 and 2024. The status on the representation of ethnic communities, on how different Kenyans from various ethnic communities have been appointed in the Public Service Commission or through the Public Service Commission, is a statement that will be sought by MP for Mandera South, and the answers in regards to ethnic distribution of appointments in public offices will be handled by the Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. Honorable Aidan Kainan is the last member under order number 7 on statements, who will be requesting for a statement on the progress on tamaking of the Wajir, Grif 2, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, all the way to Ethiopia A1 Road. And this statement by Honorable Aidan Kainan on the tamaking of the road from Wajir all the way to Moyale, ending in Ethiopia, will be handled by the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. If you're just joining us this afternoon, the business of the National Assembly is just about to commence as the Sergeant at Arms, as you can see on your screens, carrying the mace, closely followed by the Speaker of the House, Honorable Moses Wetangula, in the chambers this afternoon. Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing and have yourself a great afternoon.
Mheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu, takusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Twakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
Well, the business of the National Assembly has just commenced this afternoon, and upon the commencement of the business of the House, we have the quorum bell on ring mode as directed by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, who has directed the Sergeant at Arms to ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes. And this directive on the quorum bell ringing for 10 minutes is guided by the House standing orders upon the commencement of the House. As we await for members of Parliament to make their way into the chamber this afternoon, allow me to take you through the businesses in the order paper. The signals from the chamber indicate the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to hand you over.
Clerk, call the orders.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable Mulher, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, I have a statement, a short one, on the demise of His Holiness Pope Francis, the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. Honorable members, pursuant to Standing Order 259D1, I wish to report to the House the demise of His Holiness Pope Francis, the Supreme Pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church. I do so with profound sadness as we all solemnly reflect on this passing on of the Pontiff, which occurred on Easter Monday, 20th April 2025, at his residence in the Casa Santa Mara at the Vatican. As members of Parliament, we join the global community in mourning a shepherd of extraordinary humility, compassion, and conviction. Born George Mario Bagliolo on 17th December 1936 in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Pope Francis was the son of Italian immigrants and grew up in a modest household. He was initially trained as a chemist, but later answered the call to to priesthood and joined the Society of Jesus Jesuits in 1958. He was ordained as a priest in 1969 and rose through the ranks, with distinction serving as provincial superior of the Jesuits in Argentina and later as the Archbishop of Buenos Aires. His pastoral heart, concern for the poor, and deep commitment to social justice was evident throughout his ministry. Honorable members, on 13th March 2013, Mario was elected the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, the first Jesuit, the first person from the Americas, and the first pontiff to take the name Francis in honor of St. Francis of Assisi. His papacy was marked by a relentless pursuit of mercy, social justice, and global dialogue. Pope Francis stood as a moral compass during times of global uncertainty, championing the causes of the downtrodden, reconciliation, and environmental stewardship. He often called upon world leaders to uphold the dignity of all human beings and the sanctity of creation. His landmark encyclicals and tireless pilgrimages touched the lives of millions and inspired generations towards unity, humility, and service. Honorable members, the late Pope Francis will also be remembered for his reformative vision within the Church, his efforts to modernize and humanize church doctrine, and his outreach to youth and future generations. In Kenya, his legacy remains visible through strengthened interfaith relations, charitable missions, and spiritual guidance to millions of faithfuls. The words of his powerful quote, and I quote, "The church is like a field hospital, heals the wounds and warms the hearts, helps build bridges between people and not build walls between people," are not just a metaphor but a mission he lived daily, reaching out across borders, faiths, and ideologies to bind wounds and inspire hope. Pope Francis passed away on Easter Monday, a poignant and symbolic day in the Christian calendar, embodying the message of resurrection and peace that he so faithfully preached. Honorable members, to the Catholic faithful around the world and in our own country, including yours truly, we offer our deepest condolences. We honor his legacy and we pray for the repose of his soul. May his life messages continue to guide leaders, nations, and people towards justice, humility, and compassion. As the world mourns his colossal loss, honorable members, let us be reminded by his example of the enduring power of servant leadership and the call to build bridges and not walls. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and I now ask you to be upstanding. For a minute's silence. May the soul of Papa Francisco rest in eternal peace. Amen. Yes, Owen?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I want to join you and the rest of the Catholic faithfuls and in the globe to mourn the passing on of a great man, a great pontiff, a man who taught the world that building bridges was a better thing in the world. Honorable Speaker, that message of Pope Francis should resonate in the world and that everybody should pick it, because as we live in this world, we need each other and we need one another to build a more cohesive and beautiful world. Honorable Speaker, I went to Vatican once. I looked forward to meeting the Pope. Unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity. It was one of those moments in my life that I waited for, to meet the Pontiff, shake his hand and get his blessings. Honorable Speaker, I didn't get that opportunity. But it's one of the things that I looked for in my life. But I know you did.
Yes.
And probably you carried my blessings. I need to shake your hand. To
They will reach you by osmosis.
Thank you. So, Honorable Speaker, we've lost a great leader in the world. The Pope is not just the leader of the Catholic, but he's the leader of this world. And therefore, I want to join the Catholics and Christians in the world to emulate, and other leaders to emulate the spirit of Pope Francis, to continue to build bridges and not walls. You can see in this country, as the president works, he's trying to build bridges all over, Honorable Speaker, so that we can have a more cohesive nation, more cohesive Kenya in the spirit of Pope Francis. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I condole and pray that God rest his soul in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Bukose?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you know, we refer to you as Papa wa Roma. And being a Catholic, I think this is a big loss to all of us in the Catholic fraternity. And I want to join you and the rest of the Catholics in Kenya to mourn the passing on of Papa Francis on the Monday last week. Honorable Speaker, we strive to build bridges and not walls between people. I think that's a very significant message, that we should not just take it literally, but be embodied as a Christian community. And therefore, may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. Koyo?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to send my condolences to the fallen Pope. I am a Catholic by Christianity faith, and the Pope excited us because of many of the popes we have had. This one was real embodiment of real Christianity, man who practiced a lot of simplicity and sagacity, and throughout his life he preached about equality. He was very much committed to the position of the downtrodden, and he taught us that it doesn't mean anything to own everything in this earth and throw your soul to hell. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Mayaka?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for my own self as a Catholic faithful, and to all the Catholics who are here, I would like to share my most sincere condolences. Also on behalf of all the Catholic faithfuls from Nyamira and the entire Gusii region, Pope Francis will be remembered as a Pope who was a people person, a people servant, and a Pope who really believed in standing for the downtrodden. We are told that one of his last words when he was passing on, Honorable Speaker, is that the Pope told the health care person who was taking care of him, thank you. And we will always remember him as someone who was ready to intervene in matters that really affected the downtrodden. So once again, on my own behalf and on behalf of the Catholic faithfuls, is to say Pole, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not Catholic, but I have friends who are Catholic, the likes of Father Ben from Karatina, Father Kamwaro, Father Kimani, and the rest. I join them, Mr. Speaker, to send my condolences following the passing on of Papa Francis, a humble man we all should emulate, and we offer our condolences to the entire Catholic fraternity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hope now that for the 267th election, it's my hope that we will get an African Pope. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also pass my condolences on my behalf and on the behalf of my constituents of Moibin. The Pope, the late Pope, was a very inspirational person. Mr. Speaker, I personally had a privilege to go to Rome last year, and we were with our Speaker, and I had a privilege to shake his hand. And is a symbol of humility. Mr. Speaker, when he came to Kenya, he did not just choose to go and stay in the high places, but he chose to go and worship in the most humble place, and that is Kangemi. And that is why we remember him for the great humility he had. And on behalf of myself, my family, my parish, Eldoret Parish, I say Pole.
Thank you. Nguna?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to join our colleagues and also the Catholics across the world to convey my deepest sympathy to the entire Catholic Church, the family and friends of Pope Francis. Mr. Speaker, you recall very well last year I was with you in Rome, Vatican, and we visited Pope, and that was my third time to meet Pope and shake his hand, Mr. Speaker. I noticed he's a very good man who championed actually climate justice, and he was a man full of humility, love of humanity, and the world reforms, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the people of Mwingi West and my family, I would like to say that let Papa Francis rest in eternal peace. Amen.
Murugara.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not a Catholic, but the Catholic Church, actually it's called the Holy Roman Catholic Church, is quite close to my heart because of the good deeds this church continues to do, not just in Kenya, but everywhere in the world. And this is a very solemn occasion when we have to mourn the passing on of the leader of the church, His Holiness the Pope. Mr. Speaker, Pope Francis will be remembered for his humility, his love for the poor, and the justice to everybody. And most importantly, is the way he went around doing his work, and especially when he visited the country. We were privileged and honored because it is not usual to have the Pope here. I remember him for the last thing